USA, Countyfairgrounds.net. Welcome to today's podcast.
Good morning, this is Mark.
County Fairgrounds here. Do I have Mark Purdy, who's in charge of the Rooftop Rodeo in Estes Park?
Yes, you do.
Okay, so what dates are we running?
July 5th through the 10th.
And do you want to tell the audience a little bit about the history of this rodeo?
Well, we started in 1907 and have run it pretty much every year since then. There was a couple breaks, obviously, for the wars and for the pandemic last year, but other than that, we've been around for quite a while. We've usually been one of the top 50 rodeos in the country as far as payouts and contestants and that kind of thing. And we've actually won Rodeo of the Year nationally 6 times, so we're very proud of that. Wow.
Did you move to a new place this year?
No, ma'am. We're in the same place we've always been. It's called the Stanley Park Fairgrounds here in Estes Park.
Okay. All right. And I noticed this rodeo has a lot of kids events, too. Do you want to talk to the audience about that, about the mutton busting and the other stuff?
Sure, yeah. So we've had mutton busting for a very long time. It's just a tradition we've had. We were kind of worried this year because of some of the COVID restrictions we wouldn't be able to have it, but we ended up, being able to do it. So that runs every night. Some of the kids register online ahead of time, and the others we reserve for walk-ups and, people in from out of town. And then on weekends, we have what we call the cash catch, where we release sheep in the arena and let kids chase after them. They have $5 bills stuck to them, and every now and then there might be a 20 there. So they get to chase those around. and then one of the things we're really proud of is we do what's called Behind the Chutes tour. It's about a half-hour tour that starts around 5 o'clock each night. And we take about 30 people around the fairgrounds. They get to meet our announcer, our rodeo clown. They get to get real up close and personal with some of the animals, like the bulls and horses. They can walk right up to the pens and have that experience. So that's always gone over really well. And it's one of those things where most of the people that come to our rodeo have never been to one. So it's just good to kind of get them plugged into it.
Right. Okay. So I think your rodeo starts is it start at 7:30?
No, actually, the what we call the pre-show starts at 6:30, and then the rodeo kicks out starts at 7 o'clock every night. But we have pre-shows, so we have like drill teams or presentations and that kind of thing that starts at 6:30.
I was reading about your stock contractor. You have a really good stock contractor, don't you?
We really do. We made a change to Cervi Championship Rodeo about 7 years ago, and it's the best thing we ever did for the rodeo. They're a Hall of Fame rodeo. They've been around forever. At last count, I think they do 6 or 7 of the largest 10 rodeos in the country. But they're just the nicest people you'll ever want to meet. And they're very well known for their livestock. So their horses, their saddle bronc, their barebacks are probably the best in the country. So contestants like to come here because they know they're going to always be able to ride a good horse and get a good score.
Oh, that's cool. So what, do you have any COVID policies in line? I have to ask.
Right. No, that's fair. Right now we don't. Larimer County about 6 weeks ago handed back any restrictions they had back to the state, so we're following the state mandates right now. And other than, doing the traditional precautions that we've all learned to live with, like, suggesting social distancing, and we'll have plenty of hand sanitizer around the place and that kind of thing. But other than that, we're really not restricted as far as seating goes or whatever.
Oh, that's good. All right, suppose I was a first-time rodeo attendee. What kinds of things would I expect walking in the gate?
Yeah, so first of all, and this is just by the grace of God that we've got the prettiest venue in the country, as far as the rodeo goes. As you sit there and watch the sun go down over the Rockies, it's just breathtaking. So that's the first thing everybody notices when they're there, is that. But we're very, very geared towards a great experience for everybody involved, all our stakeholders, where it's the fans, the contestants, our committee people, our sponsors. We just really try to take care of everybody, and we call it our Disney experience. We actually have a couple people that have worked for Disney in the past, so they've kind of modeled some of our customer service around that. And yeah, we just want to make sure everybody has a good time while they're there, that they learn a little bit about rodeo, and hopefully come back sometime.
Yeah, the bronc riders kind of scare me, and I've done some interviews. I've interviewed one or two of them, and of course I've interviewed the PRCA, but the bronc riders kind of scare me. How many bronc riders have you got?
Well, so we run broncs every night, so all 6 nights, and typically there's a dozen to 14 in each night of attendance. So it just depends on the night and how they travel and all that. But right now we're full on all of our events actually when it comes to contestants, and again, they love the horses that Survey has, and we also have one of the higher payouts in the country for both saddle and broncs, or barebacks, and so they love to come here. We've got an awful lot of former world champions going to be here next week, so we're really excited about that.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So yeah. How does it work? Could you explain how the bronc riding thing works? I mean, how does it's one bronc rider? How many bronc riders are doing an evening, say? Yeah, so like I said, probably around a dozen to 14. It just depends on the night, and all of our contestants can enter our rodeo up to 2 weeks in advance. And they have to be PRCA card holders, obviously, and they actually register through the online system with the PRCA, and they can say, well, we'd like to come this night, but on the other hand, they might not always get their first preference on nights depending on, who else we've got coming as far as numbers go and that kind of thing. So that's how they register. And then as far as the event itself, you basically got, from the time that gate opens, you hold on for dear life for 8 seconds and hope that you don't come off the horse. But in all three of those events, the 2 horses and the bull riding, there's actually, we have 3 judges in the arena, and they actually get judged on 2 different components. The animal gets judged up to 50 points, and then the rider gets judged for up to 50 points. So in a perfect world, you've got an animal that's, doing all the right things and kicking like crazy, and then you have a really good contestant that could hold on and get a good score. Mm-hmm. So what about the bull riders? How many bull riders have you got? Again, probably that dozen to 14. And we'll have that in every event this year, I think. And that's each night, by the way. Yeah, each night. Okay. How long does the rodeo last? If it starts about 6:30, how long in the evening do you go? It starts at 7, and our stock contractor, Binion Survey, is just fanatical about a 2-hour rodeo. That's what the National Finals Rodeo in Vegas does every night for 10 nights, and Binion just feels like that's the perfect amount of time, so we push it along at a pretty fast clip, and everybody seems to have a good time with it, so that's what counts. All right, so do you have food vendors? We do. Yeah, we have a variety of, on a midway, we have food vendors. We have a saloon that we carry, a lot of local craft beers on top of a couple national sponsored beers and Jack Daniels and that kind of thing. So. Okay. All right, and I imagine you have plenty of parking, right? We sure do, and it's free parking. Oh, that's cool. And is it easy for a senior to get in and out? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. We have a handicap / senior area parking right up front as you walk in the front gate, and we try to kind of monitor that a little bit to make sure that it's not just anybody walking into that. So we try to keep that free, and somebody needs help to get from their car, we'll figure that out for them. Okay. All right. Cool. So is there anything else you want to add to our audience? Boy, just come on up. We're going to, right now it looks like we're going to have full houses each night, so I'm telling everybody to come early. Be in the fairgrounds, probably 30 or 6, get something to eat, have a drink, and, get ready. So from that perspective, we're really excited and just trying to get everybody back after a weird year off. We all went through a lot last year, and we had the added horror up here about having to go through a wildfire in late October, where we were actually surrounded by the 2 largest wildfires in Colorado history, 5 miles apart. And in late October, the town actually got evacuated top to bottom for 4 days. So that was an exciting experience, let me tell you.
But you know, we're thanking the first responders this year. We have a night in their honor, and you know, we can't say enough about what they've done for us.
Okay. Hey, you have royalty too, don't you?
We do, yeah. In fact, we have one of the better royalty programs in the state. We've got you know, a queen and an attendant, and they run for those titles every year. And then we have what we call our princess program, and sometimes wranglers if we have, you know, younger boys that want to do it too. But we'll have up to 4 younger ladies that are, you know, kind of our ambassadors. They go downtown and they talk to people about the rodeo and try to get them to come that night, and they greet people when they walk in the door. But my family was honored because my daughter was the queen of our rodeo back in 2007, and then she liked it so well, she tried out for Miss Rodeo Colorado and was that in 2011. So she took a year off from college and traveled the country and represented Colorado in that venue. And,
I almost got you.
And we almost, well, I shouldn't say almost. We did have another young lady, Alex Highland, who's our queen, a couple years after Kelsey, and she was also Miss Rodeo Colorado about 3 or 4 years ago. So we feel like our rodeo program, you know, really gets them involved, teaches them some valuable skills. I mean, my daughter was the kid that she couldn't stand up in front of the 5th grade class and give a speech or a book report, you know, on something she had done. And now try to shut her up in front of 500 people, it ain't going to work. So it's just a wonderful learning program.
That's cool. All right. You know what I forgot to ask you about? Rodeo clowns, and I love the rodeo clowns. So what's your clowns like?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we're blessed to have the best clown in the country, period. That's Justin Rumford, and he's 9-time Clown of the Year nationally. And he's hilarious. He's a great guy. Really gets the crowd engaged. You know, keeps people safe when he's supposed to keep them safe. And as long as I'm bragging about our other personnel in the arena, we've got a young guy named Andy Seiler that's our rodeo announcer. And he was actually picked this last year to be the announcer at the National Finals Rodeo. So we're really proud of him for doing that. And then the guy that does our music is Hambone Hilton. And Hambone has been music director of the year a couple times. And then our rodeo secretary is Sunny Deb Beckstrom, who's been secretary of the year 10 years and is in the Hall of Fame. So we're just blessed and surrounded by some really, really good people that are very rodeo knowledgeable, but also very popular in the rodeo world. So we're blessed to have the group we have every year.
It's very exciting and sounds like a lot of fun. And I want to thank you very much for this interview, Mr.
Yep, thank you.
Bye-bye.